we're really glad to have this webinar today. We will go for about 1 hour. We will have Harold, Principal PM for Microsoft, talking. We will have Ahmed talking, our CTO and Azure MVP. We're really glad, and we want to talk about BizTalk to Logic Apps, the fast track to AI ready, legacy to AI ready. But let's have a short introduction to this. As integrators from Sweden, Contica, me and Ahmed works there, we know that there are some concerns when planning to move from BizTalk, because BizTalk works. We know that moving off is hard. We know that the platform is running, everyone knows it's running, and the migration is never something that just shows up and is how do you say, if something is messed up, then the business will say, hey, what happened to the integration that actually works? We know that also there, from an architectural perspective, there is questions. What's the right architecture in Azure? What resources do we need? What will the platform actually cost? This is a very common question we get. How much does it cost? And how long will the migration take? Do we have time? And of course, the foundation of everything, the networking, security, governance, we really don't want to mess this up. There's a lot of questions, and last but not least, what we were going to talk about today is AI when migrating. AI in the integrations as tools to get migrations going. So the question can also be, how do we even keep up? I feel this like every day. Something is new with AI every day. But under all of this, there's one quiet worry. We really don't want to mess this up. And what happens if we get this wrong? And I was introduced to something called FOMU last week, and I like this expression, the fear of messing up. And we want to make sure in this webinar that the fear of messing up is a bit less a fear. We want to show you that you can use AI to actually enhance and fast track your migration from BizTalk to Azure. And as Galadriel says in Lord of the Rings opening scene, the world is changed. So the fast track to AI ready. A migration today is not what it was 6 months ago. We have done at Contica 10 plus migrations over the years. We are involved in 3 at the moment. And we know from day-to-day work with this that it is not what it was 6 months ago. AI tools combined with real human expertise. You know about your platform. We have expertise from the methodology, how to move the migration. But as I said, business processes needs to keep on running, and we need more time on actual decisions and things that matter, not more time for meetings, workshops, and documentation. So we've built a methodology that combines our own tools with one of the tools that Harold will talk about today, the Logic App AI agent. And what we call it from Contica side is that we built a migration factory to actually help you going from BizTalk to Azure with the tools and the knowledge that is out there. And with that said, I would love to pass the mic to Harold and to talk more about, from the Microsoft perspective, about migration from legacy to Logic Apps.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much for this introduction. One of the things that we had to do, and this is part of the regular software life cycle, right? What happened with BizTalk happens with every single product, at some point. And yes, you are correct, right? So BizTalk is doing great things, has done great things. It's been one of the top products that we had, the top product that we had in the integration space. But times change, as was said a few slides ago, right? And we have to evolve, right, with the market and with the industry. Integration is not part of what we do. It's all we do. I don't know, a few months ago, we were having a discussion internally with other PMs in the team, and we came up with this line that you integrate, or you innovate where you integrate, right? I mean, you can do innovation everywhere, but it's easier and more natural to do innovation when you start integrating things, when you start seeing the value of connecting things. And that aligns perfectly with AI, right? I mean, all of the innovation that is happening today, all of the new things that you're hearing about, capabilities integrating with agents and doing agentic business process automation and incorporating automation into your processes and incorporating AI into your automation and processes. So that is happening because you have the ability to integrate. And that's exactly what we're trying to do with Logic Apps, give you more abilities to integrate with the AI world that will be very difficult to do with legacy integration platforms like BizTalk Server, like others that have very strong dependencies on the way how we did things 20 something years ago. Yeah.
Exactly. But innovation also is like I like what you said there about innovate where you integrate, but like also you need to be careful when you are migrating. Do you really want to innovate while you are doing that? Maybe you can innovate how you migrate, not within like the migration, because it's like for me it's two different scenarios there. I would like to leave the automation where we actually start to scale or do something. So I agree with both sides. It's just when is the timing is really important here.
When I was doing some work back in the day in the mainframe modernization space, the options are very clear for those who have been running mainframes for those more than 40, 50 years. What happens with the mainframe is very unusual. The hardware evolved, improved. It got better over the years, right? I mean, you no longer see those room size mainframes that you saw in the movies or that you saw in the books when you went to school. But the software remains the same. The software remains the same. The code programs, the JCL, the assembly programs, the relational, which were a new thing, was from the 70s, 80s, I think. But even talking about software that has been around for 40 years, it's a lot. It's a lot of time, right? A lot of things happen. And yes, you are correct, right? I mean, bringing legacy workloads, it comes with its own risks, right? And because, it's not just that it was built 40 years ago. It's because, or in the case of BizTalk 20 or 15 years ago, it's because many people worked on those things, right? So then, but on the other hand, when you bring them, I think eventually we had a website, we have the lift and shift approach, bring your BizTalk workloads to the cloud and then at least figure out some of the dependencies. The only thing that you're doing is you're just postponing something to
exactly.
happen. So if you have the ability to do it with AI, then you could, right?
Yes, yeah. It opened so many doors that was a bit, it was a bit rusty to open before. I wouldn't say it was closed. It was just a bit rusty. It was time-consuming activities that we had to do to actually achieve some kind of automation. And that's actually take us to like next slide there, like where if you look at modernization and journey or legacy journey overall, like if we just zoom out from the BizTalk perspective, it's usually like you need to understand your legacy exactly as you're saying. There is a legacy somewhere. It's not only BizTalk, you have other systems there doing different things. And then you want to define the target for those different scattered things that have been happening over the years. And then you want to start to build your foundation for that target. And then you migrate your workloads and then you go. And usually there is a lot of time. The first step here is the grounding your truth, is the decision making, which is as Robin was mentioning before, the fear of what?
The fear of messing up.
The fear of messing up, yeah.
What if we get this architecture wrong? What if we set the wrong settings in the networking? Security. I mean, there's a lot of things that needs to be considered.
Yeah, exactly. So usually we have like there is a barrier in that step, and that's why we are here today, because we are still talking about BizTalk migration. We don't have many years left. It's like say 2028 and 2030, and that's confirmed now. So BizTalk is dead basically. So now we are like last minute thing, and we don't want also to mess that up.
No.
And that of course affect any decision. So, but also as you were saying, Harold, here before we were doing that, and then if we just like now zoom out in a BizTalk context, like because this is the elephant of the room, how actually the BizTalk migration look like now. It's something like that. You have your BizTalk state, and you do your scoping, and you have your architecture fit, and then you have your foundation landing zone on Azure. You have the deployment pipeline, and you want to make a choice with cloud or hybrid, or maybe both. I would say both is the most logical nowadays, that you would need both anyway. And then you start to migrate, because it's like all of these steps is quite, it's time consuming, and it feels so clear, and it feels so clear path there. It's just a straightforward, but it's actually not in many cases.
No,
no,
it's not.
As you can say here, like usually you go and loop between all of those steps all the time. Architecture getting revisited. Scoping takes months, because if there's something undocumented or you don't know, then you are just walking around and trying to find out who owns what and who knows what. And you still have a cost of moving this, and you have like maybe a bunch of experts for many systems that keep billing, and like the times there, and the consultants and your own team. There is a big budget that's happening there, but budget is not looming. Budget is increasing, and it doesn't reset like all the other steps. So you end up with like time consuming. I don't know, Harold, how many years have you been in this migration? Like, what is the longest migration project you have been in?
You know, I think I've heard about the customer moving platforms in 4 years, but I remember the wisdom that came from a customer that I visited in Philadelphia. I think it was probably 15 years ago or less. He said, we tried to do it like this. 5 years later, we learned a little bit more, and now we are doing it differently. So I think there are efforts that are that happen over time, that take their time. But I think we're going to be talking about, how these things are changing these days, right? And one thing that I want to call out that I really liked about this content that you are presenting is that you're making a clear distinction between cloud and hybrid, right? The market is full of customers that are running on premises, and I mean, it's an option for them to go to the cloud, to go to Azure and to run in Azure. But for many of these customers, they will want to remain running on premises, their mission critical systems, because of latency reasons and regulations and such. Hybrid, which is a bit of an interesting word, is the way how we support logic apps running on premises in containers, right? And thank you for the call out, because when we hear BizTalk to Azure, customers think that they are forced to move to the cloud. Not necessarily, right? I mean, they can run in containers on premises, and that is a path that multiple customers are following now.
Yeah, and also like it's good that you're mentioning this hybrid. It doesn't mean, or like even migration doesn't mean. Don't have this content today, but it's a good idea to do something about that later. Just pivoting a bit from what we have now, like hybrid or Azure Arc, like this, even logic apps on Arc enabled. It allows you to get the best out of the cloud and the best when you're running on-prem, because you cannot have everything on-prem. The security will be affected here, because the only thing you have on-prem, when you have those things, you are actually secure. You have your things running on your data server, like a data warehouse. Oh my God, I forgot the words. Because that was not in this content, but like it's
data center. Yeah, when
yes,
you're running,
exactly. You only are secure against the actual risks from your around you. What Azure offers you is the potential risk. Like it's updates. There's a lot of things happening when you take the clouds and the Arc enabled services on-prem. So this hybrid setup is actually way more effective and more modern. It's way better than even on-prem. You don't want to be locked and just reacting to what's happening around you. You want also be reactive. You want to be proactive, which is like knowing what's going to happen. Yeah.
One of the reasons why we incorporated a hybrid offer to logic apps was was never to meant with on-premises only. It was never, we never built hybrid because it still has a control plane in the cloud, in the portal, while all of the runtime and data, the data plane is on premises. So there's no exchanges. So your data remains on premises. Everything is isolated from the cloud. The only thing that goes to the cloud is just billing information, just pure billing information from the infrastructure. But we never wanted to lead with on premises, right? Because we know that innovation is happening where you integrate, and innovation is happening in the cloud and in hyperscalers. So,
but it's not for everyone, and there is a solution
exactly.
for everyone. Also.
Exactly, and that's why, you know, I mean, there will be some customers for which even hybrid will be like, no, you know what, I really need to be 100% disconnected, and we're exploring that, right? So we're giving customers the option to let us know. So there's a survey. We will share the survey later. So then for them to let us know if they really need, you know, 100% isolated solution, integration solution running on premises. We'd love to hear more about that.
Yeah.
Yes. Great. But if we would like now want to continue and like go back to, because now we started to open, we went to a side quest here talking about hybrid, but like it's good that we are mentioning that so people also know.
Yeah.
If we go back to what we actually have, like now we have these challenges, and like there is like now what's happening, there is like kind of a trend saying AI is gonna fix everything. I don't think that AI will save your migration. It's the way you are using it, as you were mentioning, Harold, in the beginning. That it's not about skipping steps, and like we just go and take our workflows and put them like from BizTalk code to Logic App workflows. That's not the whole picture, and just doing that, also like rushing into that, is not. You will feel like there is something missing, which is okay, because there is something missing, and that's where we actually gonna highlight today, and we're gonna show you how we approach that, or how we did approach that challenge.
I just want to add one thing, because I know that you wrote an article from a previous session you had, and I asked the questions, why don't you just throw AI at it? Why don't you just put everything that we do in an AI LLM?
Yeah, because my dream, the dream subscription of unlimited token doesn't exist.
Okay.
Because what happens, what you have there is you do have a budget, you do have like tokens, you have allocations that like something, and then you will end up burning all of your capacity in the first 3 days of the month. And like, I don't know about you, Harold, but that's what we face every day. Usually when we work, we hit those context wall, the tokens quota we have.
When I talk to colleagues, to peers, to friends, to family, I'm always reminded that AI can fly airplanes today, right? And yes, it could, right? It could. It's just that you have to be careful, right? The same thing happens when you build anything and you modernize with AI. Fantastic vehicle. We will see more of that, but yeah, it needs a sequence. It needs a framework, right, for it to be successful.
Yeah, exactly. But I'm not against. Yeah, I'm just like talking about how this is a question we all face. How we manage our context, our tokens, how we actually gonna use, because everyone want to use, everyone is using it. That's a fact. And I will show you now how we actually doing that. So because if you flip that perspective around, why do we want to use AI? AI is learning everything from us. But what about if we ourselves start to actually think like an AI agent? Because if you observe an AI agent, what do they do? They read what you give them, they search in a knowledge base, and then they match the content with what you need, and then they start to build something for you. That's how the agent works. But you can like, this is something I usually start to, like, I used to start to rush on building and start to rush on matching stuff, and like I want to just jump over this. But when I start to follow this logic, everything starts to become more clearer. And when you put that in a BizTalk migration context, that's what you will end up. You will need to know your artifacts. You will need to look at your knowledge base. Search what's out there, the best practices, what's the perfect architecture fit. I want to find like my stack. I have been for years creating templates, scripts, standards. How can I actually use that? And then when I have the bigger picture, I start to build that. But this sounds so time consuming for us as a human. So like for us as a human rights consultant, I'm talking now about, I'm not talking for humanity, I'm just talking about us who is using BizTalk, so let's just keep that way. And there is new ways of approaching stuff. And I will go with the specific examples like soon. We have the workshops. We used to go in and workshops and talk a lot about, like, have many organized workshops and try to understand. And hopefully we get nice notes from those workshops. And we try to interview people. We try to scope from assumption. It's usually, there is a lot of assumption. Like when you search for facts, it's a bit hard to decide. It's always depends on.
And also, it's also very common that from a BizTalk perspective, there is a lot of companies out there with like 1 or 2 people knowing everything in BizTalk, and that's okay, but also trying to be aware of, but integrations is long-living solutions.
Yeah.
So if someone asks, what does this integration do? I built it 6 years ago or 10 years ago. I don't know. Where's the documentation? I don't know. Maybe. But what you're saying is that there is documentation.
Yeah, it's in BizTalk there.
Yeah.
And we don't need all of those things because time, I cannot just keep continuing pushing, calculating everything in time. I cannot just keep trying to sell my time to take people's time to do this way is actually because things takes less now. Let's be honest. And we are using AI. We have our tools. We have our flows. And like the migration agents that we are going to be seeing now, and also we have been just releasing, things takes less time now, right? And I know that many, like you have more even wider look on over the globe. There have been like high usage of this logic app agent, migration agent, not only in Europe, right? Harold?
No, I mean it's being used everywhere. You know, I was having meetings with customers in Spanish, in English. You know, in well, I don't speak German. I was listening German on the back end, so I think.
I was hoping for Arabic, but yeah.
So yeah, it's being used everywhere. Yes.
Yeah, and I think it's what we are questioning and what we also is seeing with our tools and the tools that Microsoft is bringing to the tool set, the toolkit, is that we can use less time with the technical stuff.
Yeah.
But more time on what actually matters.
Exactly. But let's see now how we approach this first challenge. Yeah. It's a BizTalk scoping.
Yeah.
If we want to say that this is usually something that takes months or 2 or many meetings, a lot of people involved, let's see how the case actually look like and how we approach it. So when you go into a BizTalk, what do you usually have? If it's undocumented BizTalk, you have a bunch of folders and there is BizTalk resources, artifacts there. And what you need to do is you need to go in there and pick out some information that will help you make decisions, architecture decisions. What orchestrations will we, how many logic apps will be these workflows? Like if it's a bunch of receive ports and these applications just subscribing for each other, maybe we can just aggregate that to one workflow or many. Like it's here, the design here, like I want to know exactly what those scope mean. And if it's undocumented environment, it will be time consuming and there is a lot of talks and workshops to actually generate those reports that has the data that I, as an expert, would like to have now to take this BizTalk server to use, to be able actually to start to use logic app agent migration game, the migration agent.
Yeah, exactly.
And usually I start with going into an environment, and this is what we have. We had after during the years we have been using BizTalk Documenter, like many people doing, and we have our own scripts, and we have our practices that we have been doing to just actually start to take from know what's about BizTalk. So when it came with AI, and then I started, okay, I want to merge the AI to my scripts and to actually start to talk to BizTalk and know what's happening there. And I discovered that the only thing I need is 2 things. I need the binding file and I need the source code. And I like no meetings, yet nothing. Just I need those 2 things. And I combine those things with in a in sequence of scripts that runs deterministically and have AI also with them in specific steps. And it goes something like that. This is something that took it usually take about 15 minutes for the biggest environments I did. But this one take around 10 minutes. I have been speeding up the demo for time purposes. We don't have much time for demos. But like if I start to run that now, as you can see, it started to run all of those scripts that I have in the sequence that I need, and there is AI and there is my deterministics. So scripts that's run and fetch those information, what's important for me. And while it's doing that, I can start, and as you can see here, it doesn't take weeks and it doesn't take big workshops. It's 10 minutes. This is exactly how much it took to give me this context that I want to know. Now I know about BizTalk environment. I can look, and I understood a bit from what systems you have, what kind of work, how the orchestrations looks like. Even I want to know if these orchestrations have like external dependencies. What are they? Even before I start to migrate. Now I have the good picture, and I have compacted context from BizTalk environment, and now I can start my agent, and this agent will have this ready compacted context enough for it to reason for me. I don't hit this context wall. I don't need to use as much tokens anymore. I already have been preparing my data, cleaning up what I have and giving it the expert. The expert preparing for the next step. Now I have my scopes, I have everything ready, and I can now go ahead on the next step.
I really want to stop here, Ahmed, just for a bit, because as you said, I mean, we all know that AI need context. We all know that AI needs a specific scope, and with better scope, with better context, the better the result.
Yes.
In this case, the result is scoping context for the next step.
Exactly.
And the next step is, we have not started migrating anything yet.
No.
But we have everything ready. As you see in the menu here on the left, there is a lot. And calling it this, just like we said, like we call it an analysis. But I think analysis is it's a cheap word for something so extensive, because you have like everything you need here.
I've been scoring complexity also and everything.
And documentation.
Yeah.
And integration, architecture, goal architecture. We have risks. We have the possibility to discuss the real issues. We have a joint surface on where the understanding is the same. What do we do now when we know about the BizTalk environment? What do we do now when we have the BizTalk scope context? Now we can use even better tools, and the agent that you are talking about at the moment.
And I even have skills. I didn't have the skills now, but I do have inside there. There are those logic app skills that we have been building, and I don't know. Do you have any logic app skills coming up for agents more than the migration agent? Like skills that we can use?
Yeah, there are more skills. I mean, there is a number of features that we are shipping and unveiling in build as well. So stay tuned.
Okay. Good.
All of things that are coming soon. Yeah, but not, because one thing that I wanted to call out is that it is not just that we have provided this migration agent, but we in parallel also are working on adding more features to the product, so then you have a better, place to land your BizTalk solution. For instance, I mean, I caught something, in this slide and the previous one, MSMQ, right? Customers right now, when they go to any model, it recommends, implement it with Service Bus, right? Which is fair, right? I mean, we recommend customers to use Service Bus. It's a super messaging system, right? And can run in the cloud. But for those who are actually dependent on MSMQ, we are about to ship next week, I think, an MSMQ private connector in private preview that will have a send action and a trigger for receipt. Yes, so there is some architectural, thing that we need to manage, but it's going to be available for you, and that will be incorporated as a skill as well. So if gradually we keep adding more more scenarios and more connectivity options for customers who are running, these systems. We are not asking them to modernize everything, right? Because that's our job. Our job is also to integrate things, right?
Yeah, exactly. Please keep it coming. So we plug in those things. And
one thing we know for sure is,
so yeah, and like if we go back to the story of like how now we have been doing that scope, like we understand, we have been scanning the business, we are scanning the BizTalk, we know now. So now even if it's not a documented BizTalk, it took me 10 minutes to actually.
Now it is.
Yeah. It doesn't need this much time to build a full view over what's happening. And that takes us to the next step, which is the architecture fit. And I want to bring it up there and ask you a question there, like in Harold. We're talking about Azure and BizTalk, and like it's a bit messy if you're like migration for 1 to many or 2 to 1. Like what is? What's actually your advice there? What is?
So, when we came up with Logic App Standard in probably 6 years ago or 7 years ago, I think, we were intentional in bringing BizTalk customers to Logic Apps, right? And I understand we are part of what was called in marketing Azure Integration Services, right? We are a number of products that have this all of these different capabilities, great different capabilities to grow in different directions. So that was always the idea, right? You have API management, you had ADF, you had Service Bus, and you have functions, and you have Logic Apps, right? Now, what is happening is that, the advice that we've gave customers, it's focus on AIS, right? Which is great because it covers different needs. But in the particular case of BizTalk customers, we understand the workloads best because we also manage BizTalk Server and Logic Apps. So then we try to make of Logic Apps the best place for as a self-contained product for BizTalk customers. We understand that, for instance, you will be needing messaging alternatives like Service Bus, like RabbitMQ on premises, because there's no Service Bus on premises. But one thing that we try to do is we try to bring as many features to Logic Apps, so then you have to invest mostly in one product, which is Logic Apps, right? And then grow and extend in the other products. In the case of functions, I don't know if you all knew, you did, but maybe for the attendees, we have the concept of local functions, so you can do custom code and you can have functions and the runtime and everything included in Logic Apps, so you don't have to pay for Logic Apps and functions. So then you can get to enjoy the connectors, you can get to enjoy all of the Logic App features, plus the ability to create functions and custom code where it is needed, right? So those are things that we are doing to encapsulate everything into Logic Apps, which is a PaaS service as well, right? So then it can grow, it can be elastic and everything for you, so you don't have to architect everything from scratch. And that was one of the reasons why many customers were reluctant to do this migration too. They said, hey, listen, I picture my BizTalk solution, and now I picture the target state with all of these different products. It just seems like a lot of work. And right now it is not. You have a migration agent, and you have the right features in the right product as well.
And I tried to do this the other day, because I know that we have this like overview over what capabilities that BizTalk is giving to Logic Apps. But I tried to do my own list. I wanted to know exactly what I'm interested in a Logic App. I know this next slide will be overwhelming, but like bear with me, because it is actually what it is. If you look into this, what this is the capabilities of what comes out of the box with Logic Apps, it's quite a lot of possibilities that you can do there within the same. Like if I created a workflow that's not that advanced now, I can plug any of those things around.
And I think this I think this is also something that is good to mention here, because as we say that, AI changed everything, but also it's like tech always changes. it's AI now, but I'm just what I wanted to connect here is when I started using Logic Apps many years ago, this was a very powerful tool even then, but it changed. It improved. It changes a lot. So I mean, the capabilities that are coming, that is available now, is not what it was 5 years ago, or 2 years ago, or 1 year ago. It's an evolving tool. And it's a great tool for yeah, as you see, it's an overwhelming picture, but it is overwhelming because of the capabilities.
Yeah, have it as an AI agent or a hybrid model or in cloud or anyway, it's yeah, it's good to actually keep that in mind because I think many architecture also forgets how flexible this tool is.
This is a very nice slide. I really like it. You know, it has a lot of information, but I may steal it.
Please go ahead. So now we have an architecture fit, which is like, if we're gonna be talking about, we scope this talk, we know what we're gonna do, and we have our logic apps to do that. And our next step is the foundation. So if you look at our stack for like over the years, we have our single source of truth, like done by my colleagues and like Pau, they have been doing like an amazing job. They're creating stuff over the years. That's like we have an 80 plus adjustable templates. We have standard single source that's like continuously updated according to the market, what's happening out there, and in-house MCP servers. But those informations feel scattered. It's if I am gonna be sitting with you, but I don't know what my colleagues have been doing to the other client, and I want to take this information and use the right things from our stack, because our stack is quite big and you want to just plug in what's right for your context. There is no one block to fit them all. And for a human mind, this is too much to keep up with. Like, hey, we updated this standard yesterday. Didn't you know about that? Of course they didn't, because it's updates. And that's where AI comes handy as well.
Exactly.
Where we start to search and match.
Yeah. And as you said, I mean, the context is everything. If we started with this context of scoping the BizTalk, as you say, as a context, we know about your BizTalk, we know about what is there. We can have a, how do you say, an improved discussion about what is there, what's the scope, what's the context, what needs to be done. And now we also have like okay, so if we do this in the proper way, then it should be done in that time. It should cost that much. But also, as you said, the context here is also to add what is out there.
Yeah, exactly.
And what we built over the years of 16 years of integration work. As you said, integration is all we do. If we do this and combine this with the context, then you have agents working on in a context that it's pretty impressive.
Yeah, we weren't able to do that without AI. It was like a bunch of templates just lying somewhere. Here's documentation, but like how to actually get that.
Was this possible 6 months ago?
Yeah.
Was it?
No.
No.
And I can imagine that you even have more of that in your own daily work, Harold, right?
You don't want to hear about the work internally because it's these days is changing a lot. I mean, the whole thing is changing. Microsoft is changing. It's rediscovering itself, and it's something to witness. I mean, I'll share that with my grandchildren later, and say, I remember those days.
Yes, exactly. And our way of working is changing. That's all of us, like Microsoft or even us or even the clients. But that's how we actually get grounded doing this, and we help to create a bit of control.
Yeah.
But like if we move on, now we have everything. We have our foundation in place. We have our templates, the right context for your specific case, for migration case.
We have the future cost of the architecture fit, yes.
And now we have everything. Now it's time to actually migrate, and with the right context, with the right things. And before that, we had our was just iterating with agents and using skills and like just doing this handily. And that's where you give us this present about how we can actually take all of our context and start to push it in and plug in this logic app migration agent, which it does an impressive work. I have been trying it for a couple of times. And it is impressive, and it even validates stuff that I've been discovering before, and like tell me, yeah, that's good. Then you actually get some kind of confirmation of what's happening. And Now, yeah, it cuts a lot of time consuming tasks doing the way that
if I may, the part that I think some time ago, internally, the team, we didn't think of shipping a migration tool because exactly how different architectures were, right? So then what I did is I created a migration starter, which is just a toolkit to do conversion to show, how something in BizTalk will look like in Logic Apps. It's out there for anyone who wants to test it. But we decided to be intentional, and anybody can do anything, quote unquote, with AI, right? What we did is we created, this agent with the skills as an extension and everything, following what we recommend customers when we engage with them, right? Like, for instance, many of them, they don't use a split tone, they don't parallelize, they just create a workflow visually because it's a very nice designer. And then they say, it's slow, right? How do I make it faster? So we try to embed some of those recommendations in the skills. And you will find, because it's open source, anybody can customize it. You might have customized it, right? So anybody can do it, can create their own versions of the parsers, because there are two parts of this agent. The part that does the discovery with all of the parsers and understanding of the original solution, can be anything, and the part that creates an scaffolding for logic apps and the right structure and the right SKUs and the right connectors and everything. So that part is sort of evolving and fixed. But the other part that is dynamic for you is to customize it to whatever system you have. You may have MuleSoft, you may have Boomi, you may have Tableco, you may have BusinessWorks or EMS or anything else, right? And you can customize it to your artifacts and then make it stronger for the discovery part. So then it gives more context to the actual part that matters for you, which is the target system, which in this case is logic apps and services around it. But yeah, so that's it. It's just it's like a funnel. It's just getting you in the right direction. It's providing you the guardrails to create the best solution in logic apps.
It is amazing, and it doesn't force me to follow specific practice that you have. I already have been taking all of my practice that I have been doing through the steps I showed earlier and just put it there. And then I have, according to my standard, I use my standard. I use my templates to deploy this, and all the infrastructure is mine. I own the solution. I'm not forced to use specific practices just because I'm using it. So it's really flexible.
Yeah.
So it's like this last piece here with the migration agent, that's where we actually completed our migration factory from start to the end, where we have actually deployable workflows to put in our templates and push in and have successful migration. And it's actually, I'm looking forward to see what's gonna happen on the next phase, how we actually gonna approach this, because migration should not take 5 years. I don't think it should take years anymore. It doesn't make sense that it does that. And the scoping and even the templates and all of this, it can be done in a week now. So really, it's feeling like time traveling, because you cannot really. Those projects should not take that long anymore. I don't think so.
Not in a technical perspective. As we said, I mean, from what we have discovered and what we are trying to collect, or what we actually did collect in what we call the migration factory, is from start to shutting down BizTalk, is that we have everything there. The migration steps is the same, but it's enhanced with AI, and use the right AI tools in the right moment. When you actually start to migrate, Logic Apps migration tool, the agent is great. But it starts even earlier. And what we are trying to do now is to actually, as you said before, Ahmed, I mean, 10, 15 minutes to actually fast track the proper discussions. Fast track what it actually, okay, now we understand, now we're on the same page, what you have, what scope you have, and then we can actually start by planning. And now we can have a discussion on when do you need to be ready? How does the architectural fit looks for you? So we don't need to spend months, plenty of workshops to get the scope.
Of course not, no.
So yeah, I mean, we talked about a lot, 50 minutes now. But how do we sum up this? I mean, what did we walk through?
I don't know. I would say that we have been doing those 5 steps, the journey and the reality, how the stress and what is the shift, what's happening. We are changing our way of work because we are changing our way of work. We are using AI in every single steps in the right context, in the right way to create context for the step after. And that gave us the readiness that we need. Not the readiness. I don't like the word AI. Really, I like you've just collect your way of work is an AI ready. It's not your organization. It's like we're adapting a new way of work, which is the right way, I would assume, to approach that.
So you can move more quickly to a modern platform where you actually can even do more of the business value stuff.
Yeah.
And Harold, I mean, we're summing up this webinar. Is there anything you can say about? I mean, of course, you cannot disclose anything about, but what should we expect from Build that's coming up very soon?
Well, there are core features that we're shipping in Logic Apps that will strengthen not only a lot of the AI capabilities and automation that we have. That's on one side. On the other hand, we have a strengthening platform and enterprise application integration. So some announcements are coming. A couple of things that I didn't want to forget, out of this content. There's one, we call it migration agent, but in the absence of, maybe because it sounded simpler than refactoring agent, because it does a refactor. It does modernization already, right? And that's something that pair with a feature that we added in the agent, which is the black box testing. Something that I wanted to call out explicitly was that with AI will, if you ask it to do a class or to do code, it will do it, right? It will create it. But what we are building with the agent is a working solution. So it builds the solution, it does the testing for you, it will create synthetic data, it will do the whole, based on the understanding that I have, I'll create my own instances and I'll send them to the system, I'll process them, happy, bad, errors, everything, and then I will get the outcome. But on top of that, so that solution already works. On top of that, it gives you the ability to add black box testing. So instructions, test cases, input data, output data. So then it matches your own environment and it connects to your own target systems. So in other words, it doesn't stop in just giving you the code and then hoping that you will understand it. It will go as far as deploying it if you have the right environment in place in the cloud or on premises. If you give it to it, it will deploy and it will leave you with a working solution. So try it as soon as you can, work with Contica as soon as you can, but you will be pleased of what you're seeing. It does require VS Code. It does require a GitHub Copilot subscription. So those are things that you have to be a bit familiar with. But other than that, if you understand your BizTalk estate and if you have some basic knowledge of Logic Apps, then you are all set for the fast track for AI ready migration.
Yeah. As you say, the factory is open. It is actually, you really put it in the right way, and that's where I think this is one of the most impressive pieces of innovation that happened in the few years here now. It's not much have been happening, and it really helped.
Yeah, and what I mean, as everyone has seen in the last couple of years with AI and everything, from our perspective, working with only BizTalk and Azure, working only with a lot of, not only, but a lot of customers that we work with is in mid-migration. As we said, 6 months ago, this was not possible. So what we are trying to do is really to speed up and have a fast track to move you from the legacy systems that you have to Azure in whatever architectural fit that you need. So we try to join everything in one factory, we call it, to actually help you going from meeting one to end of life, and you understand how this process looks like. But we also know that every BizTalk migration is a specific one. The business is different. The challenges are different. There is a lot of things that is different. So that's why we say we don't have a call to action which is suitable for everyone. So we try to do it. How can we do it in your way? We say to you, bring your problem to us. Book 30 minutes. Tell us where you're stuck. Tell us what your challenge is in your BizTalk migration. and we will help you or to discuss how you can approach it in an AI perspective way, how to fast track you out of this migration. It's your environment, your dependencies. I mean, the migration is that you are facing with your business. And we actually, we just want to talk directly with you, since if we understand more, we can improve this factory.
Yeah.
We can make it even quicker. We can combine forces with whatever is shipped with Microsoft to actually help you going from your solution, your problem, your questions, to actually fast track your way to Azure, because this is happening now and you should not be stuck.
Yeah, and even if you are like an architect, like a partner, like a consultant, reach out. Let's work together. Let's see how this is gonna help out. We try to approach a new way of work that will affect us all. So why not?
Exactly.
Or we do follow other ways now, and we'd like to share it and even inspire each other.
All companies deserve an AI fast track, I guess. Harold, anything you want to add? I mean, we have 4 minutes left. We are very happy that you joined this webinar, and a lot of people joined. Is there anything that you want to add before we?
Well, yeah. First of all, thank you. Thank you both for this opportunity again. It's always wonderful speaking with you. Thank you for the partnership, with Contica. And I think from a Microsoft perspective, I'm from Peru, and when I think one of my first projects in working with Microsoft was with BizTalk 2000. And I remember that I was one of the first BizTalk Server certifieds, and to me that was a life changer, because I got to see BizTalk and I fell in love with it, right? And now I manage the product. So I think what I wanted to say is that I want to make sure that what customers have been receiving with BizTalk, they get way out more with Logic Apps, and that's exactly why this is an area of that is very close to my heart, right? The integration space, BizTalk, Logic Apps, and making sure that customers they continue getting the value and get more innovation, out of Logic Apps. So thank you for the time, and it was a wonderful presentation.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Harold. Thank you for everyone joining, and
please let us know. We are reachable. We really want to help. We would like to discuss whatever you saw here. Let us know if you have any questions or you want any information.
And we will see everyone on Build on. Yeah, we just reach out and we will see you out there.
Yes. Thank you.
Thank you, guys. Take care.
Thank you so much, Harold.
Thank you.
I need to stop this. Right.